Wait, we were talking about the loan charges, weren't we? That's
Yes.
been all over the papers.
And I'll be honest, it was trending on Twitter along with HMRC and all this, and people were losing their minds. And I came in and just asked you because I don't understand it.
No.
I don't know what's going on. I know it's why you played Jimmy at the start, but I really genuinely don't understand it.
Well, it's what it is people are up in arms because they're having to pay an incredible amount. Some people, not many, and it doesn't really affect a lot of the client base and the type of people that are in business, so to speak. But it is interesting to know because when you take a loan out of a company, it's potentially taxable. Now, if you're a director of a company, or what is deemed to be a director, and you borrow money for that company, if you've not paid that money back within 9 months of the end of the period, it used to be that you had to pay 25% of the total amount still outstanding at that time, which is a lot more than tax and the normal income tax. But if you nowadays, it's 32.5%. So it's a massive amount of money to be paying out. So the thing is, make sure that your sort of director's loan account is balanced up, because you can end up paying an awful lot of money. Now, if you're not a director and you borrow money from your company, there could be what they call a benefit in kind. So if you borrow, say, £10,000 from the company, for argument's sake, sorry, 10,000 is okay, but let's say you borrow 20,000. And that is given at you at, say, 2% interest, but the going rate of interest is 8%, then you'll be taxed on the difference between the two. So you'd be taxed on the 6% as a benefit, if that makes sense to you.
I've got to ask, is this related to, like, sometimes if you're in work, you might ask for like a month's wages in advance?
No, as long as you pay it back.
But is the law that allows this to happen the same as the law that allows you to get wages in advance? Is it?
No,
Is it related? No, is it totally different?
Well, effectively, it's a benefit in kind, but it's not long enough and it's not enough. It's got to be a minimum amount of money, and it's got to be outstanding for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
It's got to be a proper loan that you
Right.
You can document it as a loan. But it's not so much of a worry, because most people, if they get a loan for under 10 grand, it doesn't really come into the system. But it's designed to take the benefit as a taxable benefit. So sometimes you lend employees money and you don't charge them any interest. Now, if that is over the qualifying amounts and for the qualifying time, then you'll pay tax on the benefit, and the benefit is interest free. So if the going rate of interest is 8% and you're getting a loan at no interest, you'll only pay tax on the 8% interest, not on the full amount. So benefit in kind loan repayments is different to what's all over the papers. What's all over the papers at the moment is more to do with the IR35 rules. That there's been IR35 rules is a set of rules that have come into place to put contractors, subcontractors, back into the tax bracket. And what a lot do is that to comply, they trade through an umbrella company, which I'm not a big fan of, and I'm not sure.
I've honestly only had...
In real terms, it's a pretend employment.
Yeah, I've only had terrible experiences with them.
Well,
really bad. I hated every moment
Well,
of dealing
probably
with them.
because it was a new sensation for you that you actually had to pay any tax.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is that not true? Well, tell me about your tax history.
No. Why are we going into that? Is that the conversation you were on?
I just wondered why you get embarrassed when we mention tax. It's okay. I understand. I understand. Not everyone pays it.
Will you stop trying to drop me in it?
I wouldn't drop you in it.
You just no, because I know that I'm all right. But you just
do I make you feel guilty?
No, you don't. But it's like you're desperate for me to get a knock on the door.
You're not contributing to society.
You're just constantly alluding to me.
I am talking about IR35 and umbrella companies. But the umbrella companies I'm sort of talking about. So what happens is that either deliberately people take their salary as a loan, because obviously you don't pay tax on loans, and then they get surprised when HMRC are suddenly knocking on the door saying, hang on a minute, this is not a loan, this is what we call disguised remuneration. So you're pretending it's a loan, so it stays in the balance sheet forever, and you think you've got away with it. And then people are up in arms because they're saying, well, the HMRC should have told us about this. They shouldn't have allowed it last year and then changed the rules later on. But the truth is, HMRC never sort of agreed that was an acceptable scheme. So just be wary. And there's been a few umbrella companies and a few advisors advising people to do this, or just doing it without people noticing. It's a bit like we were talking about last week. Don't always listen to advice. Just verify it.
Yes.
And it goes against the spirit of tax avoidance, because tax avoidance isn't that, I thought it was a good scheme. The HMRC have got to approve it. Now let's be realistic. If you're taking money from the government, if you're taking money and as a loan and pretending it's wages, or the other way around, then it's not in the spirit of tax avoidance. You know what?
I've got a really good example of this in the realm of like expert advice and who you should and shouldn't listen to. Yeah. Say there was an accountant who owned an accountancy firm that keeps giving nods to camera that I'm avoiding tax. They might listen to that and they might run me through the mill investigating me, because they'd be like, he knows what he's talking about, that fella there.
Do you think HMRC are interested in your tax bill?
No, I don't at all. They're not interested.
That's where you're going wrong. Because when I spoke to you know, some people, when they think no one cares, no one's interested in me or anything I do, trust me, HMRC are. So sorry, you keep going on about this. There's obviously a problem here. It's all right. I'll speak to you after the show properly. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I'm going to need the brown stuff team, man, definitely.
But does that disguise remuneration? Does that sort of clear that up? Because you understand it, everybody else will.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I do appreciate.
Right. But if anybody does think they've got problems with that's the time to speak to me is now. The time to speak to your accountant is now. But then again, if you're in that situation because your accountant has advised it, then maybe you shouldn't be speaking to that accountant. But it is a problem. It's quite an onerous thing. But the idea is, don't pretend something's a loan if it's really your wages. You can look at other tax planning techniques, but that's a pretty blatant one. And there's no point screaming that you've not got away, you didn't know, because that's not a defence. But HMRC will take into personal circumstances. They're not out to screw everybody. Just you, Graham. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to carry on watching, we've got loads of videos all around us. But if you have more real-world issues and something you'd like to talk about, do feel free to contact me. Just go to my website, stephenenglander.co.uk, fill in the form, tell me what it is roughly you want to talk about, and I'll be in touch. Thank you.